Good evening, Googlers. Welcome to GEG Amman's monthly webinar series number 6. My name is Georgina Dean, and I am the GEG leader for GEG Amman. And أهلا وسهلا عليكم بك في الجي جي مان ويبينار رقم 6. أنا اسمي جورجينا دين وأنا الجي جي ليدر بالجي جي أمان. فأهلا وسهلا كلنا. If you are joining us, please go ahead and jot your name down in the chat box to the right, and where you're joining us from. لو سمحت اسمك ايه بالشات على يمين باليوتيوب. And Ramadan Kareem to everybody. كل سنة وانتم طيبين. It is the month of Ramadan here in the country of Jordan. Internationally, I should say, that's celebrated internationally, but for those of us who are part of our GGMN team, we'd like to wish them a happy holiday, and to any of our other viewers celebrating internationally as well. So it is going to be just me today, guys. Sorry for the non bilingual translation that we normally have with my co-host, but as it is the month of Ramadan, they are celebrating with their families, which is also the reason we hosted this a little bit earlier this time, just to make sure that if anybody did decide to join this month, that we ended in time for iftar, so everybody could go and eat and drink. So yeah, so we're going to get started. First of all, I'm going to share the slide deck as I always do with everybody, and then you will be able to jot down any questions that you may have on the last slide. So you'll have edit access for the remainder of the presentation. So here is the slide deck for the agenda today. There you go. And definitely would encourage everybody to go ahead and do that. So if there's any questions throughout the show, just go ahead and you can scroll all the way down to the second last slide, slide 12, to share any questions or even any comments if you have any, and then we can address them later in the show. So first on, what I'd like to do is just let everybody know where they can get a hold of us if they would like to contact us. So you'll find our Twitter handle on slide number 2 of today's agenda, and our Instagram handle, which is GEG Amman. And you can find us on Facebook. We have a closed Facebook group called GEG Amman, but of course we welcome and encourage everybody, even from other GEGs around the world, because sharing is caring, and we do learn a lot from each other collaboratively. So you're welcome to join us there. And of course, you all found our YouTube channel this evening, so thank you for joining us. And we do have some playlists available on the YouTube channel. We recently have started our Arabic only G Suite for Education tutorials, so you can check those out. We also have our Tip Tuesday sessions, which are hosted every Tuesday evening for just a brief 30-minute show where we review some tips and tricks for using G Suite for Education apps across education. So that's been great. We've been reviewing a lot of distance learning tips recently, and we're looking forward actually to starting with guest speakers on the upcoming Tuesdays. We had our first guest, which was Tamina from GEG Amman. Thank you, Tamina, for joining us. And she shared a lot of awesome resources related to maths. Actually, some of the tools could be cross-curricular as well, so definitely check that out on the Tip Tuesday YouTube channel. And next week, we have another guest joining us all the way from America, from Ohio, from the GEG Ohio team. Stephanie Howell will be joining us next Tuesday to share her awesome Google Sheet resource and how it supports learners in classes. So we're really looking forward to having Stephanie join us as well. And also, we recently had our first Arabic only live event for a whole day of just back-to-back Arabic sessions, except for mine, which was a little bit bilingual at the end. But it was a great start to supporting our educators who, you know, speak only Arabic or mostly Arabic, as it's important as we are in a region where Arabic is the primary language. So we're really excited to kickstart that as well. And I guess I actually started into the celebrations for the month of April. But anyway, so those are all of the available playlists that you can find on our YouTube channel, and that is embedded. So if you just take your mouse and hover over these links, you'll find that the links are embedded, so you can click on them to join our social media areas. Okay, so there's my information if you would like to follow me. My website, sorry to say, guys, as most of you know, it's a super busy time right now in um, around the world for COVID-19 school closures. So my website has been last on my priority, and it is still under, I took it down just before the COVID closures, just so you guys know, to revamp it. And I actually haven't had time yet to complete those updates and make it live again, but hopefully soon. So there's the website if you would like to follow. And I'm pretty active on Twitter. So that's my Twitter handle if you'd like to follow me as well. Most of my posts are shared between my personal and GEG Amman anyway, because it's a lot of Google, so that's really good. Okay, so here is the agenda for today. Pretty short session, as I already stated earlier, since it's Ramadan, and so it's just me joining today. We're just going to go over a few highlights for the month of March, which I already started discussing. And we are also going to review, sorry for the blue screen, that's just my HDMI cable popping in and out. That may happen again, so just stay tuned. So we'll review the highlights for the month of April. And we'll also go over some Googly Treats, and we'll take a look at a few G Suite updates. There weren't that many this month, so we just picked out a few of the main ones to share with everybody, and then we'll go over some Q&As. So I noticed that there were some other people joining the call today, or the session, I should say, so please do feel free to go ahead and jot down where you're joining us from and your name. We love to see how far the reach is going. We recently had some Googlers joined from Australia and Oman and where else? Actually, from the GEG APAC, a lot of Asian countries were joining the other weekend. So it's always great to connect with everybody internationally. So for those of you who are new to the monthly webinars, we basically run this on an ongoing Google slide as an example of how you could set up learning experience with your learners, or if you're an ed tech coach or a learning technology specialist, then you could set up your trainings also this way by having agenda items and make it like a choose your own adventure story. So here you'll find that there is a transparent shape highlighted over each section of the agenda, and you're able to, there it is, the third one, and you're able to click on the embedded link below to take you to that space later on in the Google slide. So it's how you can embed different different sections of your Google slide, and it's the same that you could do with a choose your own adventure story. So it's a nice example. I moved that slide to the front because it was still sitting behind the two images. Okay, great. So let's get started then with the highlights for today. So I'm going to click to take us to slide number 5. And as you can see there, it's mostly distance learning. I know in the first couple of months, we had a lot of images sharing our meetups in person, but we're still in distance learning. It's the end of our 7th week of distance learning here in Amman, Jordan. And so we're really excited that we've been able to do a lot of online Googling together, even though educators and administrators are really busy with their own schools and their own classes and their own education organization communities. It's just been really nice to celebrate online together. So every Sunday at 6:30 p.m. GMT +3, which is Jordan time, we host a small check-in with members of the GEG Amman community. So if you're joining us and you'd like to register, you're welcome always to join us live. And it's just literally a check-in. How's everybody doing? Does anybody have questions? So you can see here one of our sessions Dana was asking about what happens at the end of the school year and how she can transfer ownership of her Google Classrooms to other teachers at her school, local school in Jordan. So it's a really nice opportunity, again, to provide support there. And kudos and shout out to Dana, who has been absolutely brilliant. She's been a Googler for a couple of years now. And although they don't have a tech coach at that school, Dana has really stepped up since the school closed, and she has provided training in Arabic to all the teachers at her school on how to use Google Classroom, including the IT team at her school, and just supporting how to set up Google Classrooms and roll that out across the school, meaning that all those awesome students at her school were able to have access to online learning for the last 7 weeks through Google Classroom. So really big shout out to Dana. And also we had a chance to review the new Distance Learning for Educators course that is rolled out from a G Suite for Education as well. And then here on the bottom right, we have an image here of Tamina's share, since she was our guest speaker for Tip Tuesday last week, and a screenshot of her sharing Equatio. She shared a couple, but from Text Help, there was the Equatio, which was really awesome for students to use and teachers to set up their lessons for maths and beyond. So really big shout out to Tamina. It's not always easy being on live camera. I know Tamina said to me last week, it just seems so easy for you. And maybe that's the case. But I remember when I first started doing webinars and recorded videos, it was a little nerve-wracking because, you know, everybody's watching, etc. So don't worry, those go away with practice and time. And I definitely encourage everybody out there who's interested and who really has a passion for tech or education to get out there and share, because everybody, that's the nice thing about the human nature, right? Everybody has their own creativity and their own ways of innovating, and it's just been so wonderful these past 7 weeks to collaborate internationally with so many different Google educator groups and trainers and educators, both local and abroad, just to see how differently everybody is using the same tools. And it really motivates and inspires. So if you're interested in recording, either pre-recording videos to support educators, or you'd like to hop on GEG Amman's Tip Tuesday or any of our monthly webinars, then please shout it in the comment section or let us know through social media. And we always welcome guests and new ideas. So thank you very much for everything all of you guys do to support educators, and we definitely want to hear from all of you. Okay, so now, oh, there's the blue screen again, just stand by. I think I explained this on the last week, but often when I'm on the computer for a long time, and this is basically the end of the day, so it's been on all day, the HDMI cables sometimes get finicky, so it kind of reboots the signal transfer. Okay, so I'm going to go to the next part on the agenda. I'm now on slide 4, and I'm going to go to Googly Treats. So I'm going to click on the link below, and it will take me automatically down to Googly Treats. So this is similar to the Googly Treats from last week, but with some added features. And I really wanted to take the time this month to focus on the Google Meet, because G Suite have done such a brilliant job at responding to the needs of learners, educational organizations, businesses, and now personal, like for just normal people, not related to work, I mean, or to school, who need to use Google Meet. So there's a lot of things to celebrate this month, hence the third Google Meet icon on the top left. So just a reminder in this first section of Googly Treats that the Teach from Home Center is still there, and it's still being updated regularly. So again, if you click on the link, it's going to open in the new tab, Teach from Home. And if you scroll down, there's all these awesome resources to help you support your students there. So I won't go over it in detail again, because I know I open that every week during distance learning, but it's just so awesome. It's so full of great resources you guys can all use in your classroom. So you definitely need to take a look. The next link as well is exploring distance learning resources from Google for Education, which is also regularly updated. So take a look there. And the third one is distance learning strategies, which was our new tool added to last month's webinar, more geared towards leaders. But since we're all education leaders, then there's something in there for everybody. And if you would like to inspire or encourage your school to take more on with Google for Education, or to apply it distance learning across your stakeholders, educators, students, parents, then there's something in there for everybody, full of embedded links of resources to support you and your education community. So take a look at that. This last one was the one that I was talking about here in this highlight, this distance for learning course. So this is set up. It's called, it's at the Skills Shop. It is set up by Google for Education, and it is an example of an online learning course. So as this is my trainer domain, it shows that the course hasn't been done yet, but once you complete each section of the course, it will actually turn blue and it'll tell you that you've completed it. So it's a really nice way to lay out, like this is a brilliant example of online learning. It tells you what to expect in the course. It tells you how many minutes the course will last, or that part of the course. I'll make it a little bigger so you guys can see. There we go. How much time it will take you. It tells you that there's a unit review at the end so that you can check your understanding of new concepts or material. And it gives you the chance to rate the course, and it gives you the chance to provide feedback. So at the end, when you give your rating, there's also a comment box, which I really love about Google. Not only do they provide opportunity across the G Suite for Education platform for users to send feedback on how to improve the software and the user interface, but also when they do courses, they ask you to provide feedback to help them with that as well. So their user feedback is very important to them. And I think it's one of the reasons that make them so successful, that they're able to adapt and to improve their user interface to exactly what the needs of the users are. So big shout out and kudos to G Suite and Google for Education. Thank you for everything you are doing for educators and beyond. Okay, so definitely the bottom line is, if you're new to G Suite for Education, this course is for you. It takes you through how to use the G Suite for Education apps in order to set up distance learning at your school. So it walks you through exactly what is the purpose of instructional design and how you can set it up to engage and motivate and inspire your students, and how to interact with them to keep that going. It also takes a look at SEN or SEL, so social emotional learning needs when you're planning your distance learning, thinking beyond the clock, so taking a look at possible office hours and how students can also like unplug and balance that screen time, different things like that. How looking at accessibility, so how do we support learners who don't have access to internet? And how do we communicate with the family? So it's a nice whole care package for educators when thinking about distance learning. So this is the newest add-on to my Googly Treats slide deck during distance learning. And definitely take a look. Even if you're not new to Google for Education, distance learning is definitely going to be new for the majority of us. And so this course, even though it says a beginner course, this course I definitely highly recommend for everybody who is participating in distance learning now. Okay, great. And shout us out, just like Dana did on the Google Meet check-in. Shout out and let us know how you're getting on. If you have questions, the Google Meet check-in is a great place to ask as well, or you're welcome to add them at the end of the slide deck or in the chat session, and I'm happy to help you out. Okay, so now comes to our second section, getting tongue-tied now. It's been a long day of sessions and teaching. Is the Hangouts Meet. So in case you did not hear through the grapevine, meaning AKA like Twitter or Facebook or through any blog posts or through the news even, Google Meet is now free for everybody. So I am actually going to just, start with the last point in the Hangouts Meet section because I'm so excited about it. I remember having to like switch apps and use Hangouts when I want to get in touch with my friends around the world, because you know Google Meet is just for the educational purpose, but not anymore. So if you click on this link, it takes you to a blog post that introduced that Google Meet Premium Video Meetings is now going to be free for everybody. I'm just gonna like sit on that for a second. So like regardless if you are in an organization for education or a corporate business, or if you are just not working in a corporate business that's using G Suite, for example, as long as you have a Gmail account, you will now be able to use Google Meet Premium. So this is massive. Okay, so take a look at this blog post. It explains why, but basically Google basically recognized how much of an awesome tool it is to support people during these closures, and how awesome it would be for everybody to use it. So have a scroll through and you'll be able to read up on that. It basically, I just wanted to shout out, the Meet is hosting more than 3 billion minutes of video meetings, which adds roughly 3 million new users every day. Just think about the server power, the bandwidth power, the people power, like everything to get it set up. This is really, really massive. So really big kudos to G Suite for turning that on for everybody. It's going to be available to everybody for free, and it basically talks about how it's very secure and supportive for users, and it's going to be free for individuals. And there's a gift there to help you through it, and all the links are embedded on how to turn that on and how to use it, as well as more embedded links to support businesses and education organizations as well. So there's loads of great stuff in there. You guys need to take a look at that. And then I left the other links in there that I had in there before because they're just such great tools for training and help for meets. There's a cheat sheet if you are still in need because you haven't started using Meet yet, but now you will have that opportunity. And really, it's such a great opportunity because when many of the schools closed here in the Middle Eastern region, and probably a lot of areas of Africa, there wasn't really that much notice. So I know, because I'm hearing from educators around our area, that a lot of schools did not have time to set up for G Suite for Education yet at their schools. So a lot of teachers are still using it on their individual accounts to set up a classroom to support their students, which is really, really big kudos to the teachers, but they weren't able to use the Google Meet feature because Meet was just for G Suite for Education account. So if your school didn't have a chance to set that up yet, it means that that was not accessible. And now it means that it is accessible. So if you're one of those teachers that is using Google Classroom on a standalone because your school hasn't registered for G Suite for Education yet, you now will be able to use Google Meet. So I've left these training resources in there in case anybody needs to access the cheat sheet and the how to get started, etc. So it's all there for you. Also, in my third link is this really awesome resource called How to Use Google. It's from allthings.how. And instead of like listing all the videos or all the links for everything, this is like a one-stop shop for everything you need to know about Google Meet. That I picked up through the Twitter PLN. So I thought I would share it here. And it basically has like all the basics of Google. So you can literally just scroll down and you can learn how to create a Google Meet, how to join it, how to schedule it, how to enable different things, turning your mic on and off. And I won't read through the list, but if you scroll down, there are tons of resources to help educators set up with Google Meet. The newest ones that I would like to highlight, which are near the bottom here, are how to send emoji reactions using Not extension. We covered that last time, but this one is new, is how to take attendance in Google Meet. New as in I haven't covered it yet with GEG Amman. So if you haven't heard about it yet, you can take a look there to see how to add the Meet attendance extension. which you can see from my browser is added here. It's this little gray icon with a little gray check mark. So that allows you to take Meet attendance. You can also mute your students. You can have a grid view on your iPad using the Chrome Remote Desktop extension. So if you're an iPad user, which many of our student users are, then this will support them to be able to use the grid view on their iPad. So some really great links in there for everybody to take a look at. Okay, so that takes care of the Meet updates. The next thing, sorry, one other thing about Meets, just to confirm with everybody, they did change it from Google Hangouts Meet to just Google Meet. So just keep in mind that when people are referencing Meet, that there's now no distinction between Hangouts Meet and Meet, that it's just become Meet only. So it's Google Meet. Okay, so the last section of today's Googly Treats talks all to supporting the community. The first thing is, I'm going to jump to the last one again, is the Google Teacher Center, which takes us to the training center, where you can basically skill up on fundamentals training for Google Apps. And you can take advanced training, which is our Google Educator Level 2, and it allows you to take certification. So once you go through those 2 learning paths, or you can click on the certification tab at the top, I'll make that a little bigger. It takes you to certification, and it allows you to become a Google certified educator, which means that schools and companies can recognize that you have the skills to use these services. So it's really, really great professional development if you are looking for something extra to complete and skill up on if you have downtime. I know many educators don't have downtime, especially if you're a teaching parent, then definitely that you may not have time. But if you have a little bit of time, it's a really great opportunity to take these certifications. And follow everything that you need to do is there. I know that there are a lot of ed tech coaches that offer extra training sessions, and there's some companies that offer boot camps, and so those are all available as well. For myself, I literally just studied here, everything in the Google for Education Teacher Center, and I took my certification exams and passed. So I believe that everything needed to do that is provided to us by Google for Education. But of course, there are lots of other resources out there as well to support that, because everybody's learning needs are different. And so there are different ways to acquire those skills. So this is there if you would like to take those certifications through the Google Teacher Center. And then here we have, I'm working backwards. So now I'm on 3B, which is Grow with Google. So this is fairly new too. I think I mentioned it on a Tip Tuesday, but not on the monthly webinar because it's new. So Grow with Google is basically a place where you'll be able to find all of your needs Google. So regardless if you're using it for personal, independent, skills growth, or if you're working on your career, or if you'd like to start your own business, etc., everything is in here. So there's a little overview on the first page, and you can just scroll down to see what's involved. And then they have different sections. So you can also use the bar at the top, and you can navigate that way. So by clicking on programs, it'll drop down this menu, a little bit like Jamboard. I really like it. And you can get to other menus that are clickable as well if you hover over. So if you're a developer and you want to learn coding skills, you can go there. If you're an educator, etc. So they have a training platform. If you want to attend Google for Education training in a certain area, you can look for it on the map. And notice that right away, as soon as I landed on the map, that it is accurate, because that is the capital of Amman that I live in Jordan. Shout out to the Middle East, super awesome. So I grew up most of my life in Canada, and although we are, definitely blessed with awesome lakes and rivers, I would have to fly if I wanted to get to the ocean, right? So down here in the Middle East, it's a lot quicker for us. It's just a little 40-minute drive to get down there to the Dead Sea, and it's about a 3-4 hour drive to get over there to the Red Sea. So it's really nice. area. So if you're interested in traveling and Googling at the same time, you're more than welcome to come visit us in Jordan, Amman, obviously once it's safe to travel again. So yeah, you can check out if you're interested in attending any Google PD. You can search for areas here and keep up to date that way. So this is the Grow with Google section. And again, you can scroll down and also see the other awesome places. Everything is embedded and takes you where you need to go. So Grow with Google is a place to visit. And finally, the last one, which I just discovered this week, I'm so grateful. I shared this already out with my school today, is the Guardian's Guide to Google Tools. So if we click on that, it's going to open up this amazing one-page PDF, obviously with more embedded awesome Google tools. So this is basically saying like, hi, parents, guardians, we know you guys are struggling at home. We know that it's not your normal go to. You're not everybody, I should say, is stay-home parents, and most parents have jobs that don't involve education. So Google for Education have stepped up again and created this amazing resource. So for example, if parents would like to know how G Suite for Education works, they can click there on the G Suite for Education. I'll make it a little bigger so everybody can see. There we go. And you can scroll down and it basically walks parents through like what it is, what does it include, and then tell me more about it. And it gives you more information. And what I really like is that everything, as I mentioned before, is clickable. So parents can literally click on accessibility features and it takes them through to the area of Google Help Center at the support.google.com that helps them with what they need to know to get started. So, oh, I closed it. So I'm just going to open it again to show you guys that there are 6 really awesome features. So if your school's using Chromebooks, this is a guide to help parents with Chromebooks. There's an accessibility guide down below. Google Meet on the bottom right and the Guardian's Guide to Classroom on the bottom left. And then this one is really, really cool. This top one on the top row to the third one over on the right is the Guardian's Guide to Security and Privacy. I really appreciated this one because still, especially since it's new and Google Classroom is new to a lot of households and a lot of families, and not all schools have ed tech coaches to support that. This is a really nice place for parents to go and say, how is Google treating the safety of my child's information and my child's data? What is happening to that? So this is a really great place for parents to read up on all of that. But the second page is what I also really liked was what about student digital well-being and online safety? So this is a massive concern right now, obviously, since so many of our young learners are now online. And since which is great. Nothing wrong with that. We're super happy to hear that. But being that a lot more people are online, it means that we have to take extra special care to make sure that everybody is safe. So digital citizenship is a massive focus right now. Now that most schools, most educators have found a groove or a routine, it's really time to take a look at, right, how do we help keep our children safe online? So this is a great place for parents. They have the Be Internet Awesome. If you haven't tried it out, make sure you click on it. It's a place for kids to learn in a fun, gamified way about how they can stay safe online. There's also the Be Internet Awesome Family Guide and the Digital Wellbeing Family Guide, which I am going to click on. It takes you to this PDF, which is quite long. Okay, there's about 23 pages. And so to scroll through, but it basically has all these kinds of questions that families are asking and things to keep in mind. So there's questions at the top and there's answers below. And it's a really, really great tool, a great time, and a great conversation starter. So this, for example, is a try at home. It's family time box. So it's a little activity, and you can do this with your students. What's really cool is that obviously you can open this up in a Google app and you can do it collaboratively as a family at home. And it's the whole idea of applied digital skills, right? The fact that you can do an activity where you're focused on a topic. So in this instance, it would be family time, but you're able to build digital skills at the same time. If, for example, you were going to complete this on a Google Doc or even a Jamboard spread where every member of the family could have their own Jamboard slide. So it's a great way to build digital skills at the same time as you are either practicing a topic of content or in this case, just working on your family skills. So yeah, definitely take a look at that and share that out with your households, your students' families. It's going to support them a lot. Lots of great stuff in there. Okay, so that takes care of Googly Treats. Wow, that took longer than I thought. We're already 45 minutes in. I thought we were going to end earlier, but as usual, Georgina's got a lot of stuff to say. Can you guys blame me though? Loads of amazing Google stuff in there, right? G Suite have been absolutely brilliant this month. They're brilliant every month, but really stepped up to support people during the COVID-19 closures. Okay, so we have 15 minutes, which is good. I'm now going to go back to my agenda on slide 4, and I'm going to now go down to the G Suite updates. So this month, I'm going to click on slide 7 to take me there. And this month, we can see there are 4 updates for the month of April. There are others, but as you guys know, and if you're new to joining us tonight, because G Suite and Google for Education are fairly new in this region, we don't actually go over the admin updates since there aren't too many on the calls that cover that work with the admin console. But as I always say, every end of the month, if there is anybody who would like to receive the G Suite administrator updates because you are involved in the console when supporting your school, because there are other people joining us from around the world, then you're welcome to hang out at the end of the call and I can definitely review those with you. So this is another really great example too, this way that it is set up, just to shout out that if you are interested in during distance learning to provide a one-stop shop for your students. Let's say you're currently doing a book study, for example, for English or any other subject, and you're doing chapter studies, you could easily set up a Google slide like this with a little table or use other infographic images, whatever you like, and you can easily embed the links to other slide decks or other places of your study for your content during distance learning to give students just one place to go. So instead of having like students scroll through like 80 slides, for example, of 4 different book studies, you could just have one Google slide and then each chapter in its own deck embedded inside. So what we've done here is we basically have highlighted the update, and when you hover over again, there's a transparent shape. Stand by for the blue screen, sorry. There we go. There is a transparent shape over top that links you to the next place in the slide deck. So that's just for any of our new viewers today. And I'm going to jump down now to slide 8 for the create and use multiple signatures in Gmail. So this is pretty exciting. At first I was like, oh, I would never use this because, well, Georgina just has one Gmail signature. But I bet there are a lot of people with different Gmail signatures. So this is going to come in very handy for any of our administrators in the education setting, perhaps, or anybody who's got basically 2 or multiple hats at the school. So for myself, for example, as a director of learning technology, this is one email signature or one hat, I guess you could say. And then I'm also an educator, so I have 12 hours of teaching time. And so perhaps I could use a different signature for any time I wanted to send any email communications regarding just the classes that I was teaching. So I hadn't thought of it before because I only could use the one signature. But now that I can use multiple signatures, that could definitely be something that I consider soon or for the next academic year. So basically, what it means is, as you can see from the gift that G Suite has given to us, you can set up multiple G Suite signatures, either directly from in the new compose message. So you'll see there's a little pen tool at the bottom. And when you click on the pen tool, you can use different signatures. To set it up, the instructions are here on the left of the Google slide deck that we're on right now on slide number 8. And basically you would go to the Gmail settings icon, general and scroll down to signature, and you would actually choose multiple signatures, and you'll be able to add those in the settings box. And if you need to, as always, at the bottom we have embedded. You might have to just scroll down a little bit without going to the next slide. There we go. We have embedded the support file from Google. So if you click on it, it's going to take you directly to Gmail Help Center, where you can learn how to set up and manage multiple signatures. So everything is in a one-stop shop for you. Okay, so that's create and use multiple signatures in Gmail. I'm now going to return back to my agenda, and I'm going to take a look at the second update, which is called Extending Advanced Google Meet Features. Okay, I kind of gave this away earlier in the show. I was so excited about it, but if we click on it, basically tells us that the G Suite is extending advanced features to everybody, to basic, business, education, and nonprofit customers. And they're going to start rolling it out. They've already started rolling it out. But as long as the feature is turned on, if you're in a business, education, or nonprofit organization, then you please ask your G Suite administrator who runs the Google Admin Console to make sure that the Meet feature is turned on, and then it will automatically get all of these feature updates, which are going to be free for everybody until the 30th of September. So this is really, really exciting. For people who are just running on Gmail without the basic features, it's automatically turned on for everybody. So if you're someone who doesn't sign out of your service, like on your mobile device, on your app often, or sign out of your computer, which was me before COVID-19 closures, and now I'm signing in and out of my computer, rebooting it daily. Um, Make sure you do sign in and out. Just it refreshes the settings as well. And make sure that your apps on your mobile phone, that's my biggest tip every week to people, is updated. You can actually set your mobile devices, iPads, tablets, phones, to auto update your applications on your software through your settings. So just make sure you go into your App Store or your Google Play Store, whatever it is, and make sure that your auto updates are turned on so that those features are going to be applied. So really exciting. And I didn't put any other links in there because they're all on slide number 6 for setting up and using Google Meet. So that's pretty exciting. All right, number 3 on the agenda for today is create pointers to any file or folder in Google Drive using shortcuts. So this was actually the last item on last month's webinar session, because it was just about to start rolling out. But obviously, since G Suite are really busy in supporting the COVID-19 closures, they haven't actually gotten to the scheduled gradual release, which only just was done on the 15th of April, which is why it is again on this. So just to say that if anybody's school hasn't seen the feature release yet, that would be why, is because they are getting around to everything step by step. And for anybody who's new listening to the call today, I should have mentioned that at the beginning of the G Suite updates, was the difference between the gradual rapid release and a scheduled release. So in the Google Administration Console, your G Suite administrator and or IT team are able to set up the way that G Suite updates happen on your school's domain. So in the Google organization, sorry, cat hair flying everywhere. On your G Suite for Education services, your IT and or EdTech coach who run the Google console have the ability to make sure that the G Suite updates like this one for Google Drive happen immediately, or up to 15 days. That's called a rapid release. Or they can put it on scheduled release, which will be more gradual, giving administrators time to test the feature themselves before they roll it out to staff. So I always say that because some people join the call and say, oh, I can see it, and then others not yet. So just make sure you check with your school and see what kind of release schedule your school has set up. And that's great. I see there's more users on the call, so wonderful. Welcome, and please feel free to shout out where you're joining us from this evening. And so what does this mean? Basically, Google recognized that everything that's added needs to be one place. And so a lot of times what happens is because we want things to be available in different places, we'll make copies of and store them everywhere. So now what's happening is it's going to be available in one place. You're going to upload a file or folder or resource to one place in the Google Drive, and it's going to, if you make a copy or you reshare it, it's actually going to show, as you can see there in the GIF, just a little arrow at the bottom of the file or the folder to show that it's a shortcut. So hands up if you guys remember shortcuts, right? If you were a Windows user for a long time, etc. So shortcuts are back for Google, and it actually makes sense if you think about it, right? So why would we have multiple copies? And it's also going to save, space in the servers, etc., by just creating these shortcuts instead of the actual space. So that's great. Tamina's joining us today. Hi, Tamina. Thanks for joining in. And Tamina says it's one thing that we were talking about. Yeah, that we didn't need to copy files. You're right, Tamina. So it's already started. So like on our school domain, Tamina works with me here in Amman, Jordan. Tamina, on our school domain, it's already showing up. So you'll be able to see this feature. And I'm going to share these feature releases on the Sunday training as well. So yes, and for anybody who's on a gradual release cycle, they have just started on the 15th of April, so you may or may not see it just yet. So everything you need to know about the shortcut file is there, and I will pop the link in for you guys as well. Yes, Tamina asks a really good question. She says, if we amend the file, does that mean that everybody gets the same amendments? That would be correct. If we are going to make a change to the same file, it's going to show up on all of the shortcuts. That is a great question. So if you want to be able to make a different file you're going to have to create a copy and rename it to something different so that it doesn't, it's not exactly the same document. That's a really good question. Yeah. Okay, great. Tamina says, oh, yes, you are right, Tamina. Your math department definitely got it because they were talking about their resource folders. Yes, that is correct. Our school domain has already received that update. Okay, so now I'm going to jump down to update number 4, which is going to take me to slide 11. And this is the Google Meet ability to join directly from the Gmail app. So this is really cool. I want to be really careful with this one though, because as you guys know from either the last webinar or one of the previous Tip Tuesdays, Google Meet is now integrated with Google Classroom. So Tamina, since you shouted out that you're on the call, this what I'm going to say next won't apply to us because we're not using the Google Meet feature at our school. But if your school is using the Google Meet feature for interactive lesson sessions where everybody is live using video conferencing in the same space, just be really careful that you are still using the Google Classroom Google Meet link that is shown in the header, the banner of your Google Classroom, because that one has added advanced features for the educator to be able to control the Google Meet because it's taken from the Google Classroom application. So if your school is using the Google Classroom / Google Meet integration, continue to use it the same way as before. Now what's happened, as you can see from the images in the slide, Google Meet has released a feature where you can start a Google Meet directly from your Gmail app. Can anybody guess why they have done that? I'm going to take a wild guess and say Tamina will drop something down in the chat. So there is a reason they've obviously added this feature, but not necessarily for education users. So again, this really comes down again, guys, it depends on how your school has decided to use video conferencing, how they've decided to set it up. So at my school, for example, the one that Tamina and I work at, we are just using Google Meet live stream. So we do not have the opportunity for students to join us directly inside of a Google Meet. We live stream our sessions and we chat in like a Google Doc or a Google Sheet or a Jamboard live with students so that we can answer their questions live. But for privacy and safeguarding, some schools have taken that decision. And so we're just using the live Meet feature. However, if you are using the Meet, I definitely would recommend educators to continue using the link that is embedded through their Google Classroom. So what is up with this feature update? So as you know now, because Google Meet is extended to all Google users, so if you have a Gmail account, you'll be able to use Google Meet. It also means that you'll be able to join a Meet. So let's say, for example, and although Google Meet has always allowed cross domains to join the Meet, it could be that, like, you're interviewing for a job or something and you need to hop on a Google Meet that's been organized by another company. You're able to just open your Gmail, and directly from the Gmail on the bottom left, as you see from the image, you can click on join a meeting and you can just enter the code and join the meeting directly, as you can see from the picture above. So to join a meeting, you enter the 10-digit code from the company. So it's one little example where you might want to. You might be able to like myself, I'm really excited to give this a try this weekend, to do a Google Meet with one of my friends. And I'm going to try using the Meet through my personal account to contact her. So this is an easy way to do it without having to go through the Google Apps menu and opening the app that way. So Tamina says, um, oh, Tamina says she tried this out yesterday. Good girl. Yes, all the premier features. So if you're following along, scroll down in the chat. Tamina's got a massive happy face added to that. She's pretty excited. I knew you would be, Tamina, and I'm sure most of our viewers will be thrilled to bits to hear this. I'm pretty excited. It means that I can now use the Meet accessibility features to chat with my friends and family. So very exciting. Okay, so there were a couple of other updates as well. I'm just going to check over. I'm going to stop on the question and answer slide. But don't forget, guys, that the Google Help Center is there. So if you want the more how to, etc., you can go and check that out. It was it's on a gradual 15-day rapid release, this feature, from the 16th of April. And if your domain is set on a scheduled release, then you won't see those updates until starting from today. So you can start to look for those in the upcoming 15 days. Okay, so I'm going to stop on the Q&A slide, which is the next one down on slide 12. But I did want to let you guys know there was another update added to the calendar a couple days ago, and I didn't have time to update the slides, so I'll add it after. And it was just that there's a new sharing dialogue. I'll just tell you verbally and I'll add the slide after. There's a new, actually I can show you here on GEG Amman. There we go. So this is the link and I'll add you guys a little slide after. But what's basically changing is they're changing the interface of how files are shared between Google Drive, Docs, Sheets, Slides, and Forms on the web. So I just want to stop on that for a second. There's usually, not always, and not usually, I shouldn't say that, sometimes, let's go with sometimes. Sometimes is a difference between the web interface. Interface means how a user uses the service. So the interface on a web, meaning on a Chrome browser or Safari or Internet Explorer, can look different than the interface on a mobile device. And obviously, one of the biggest differences is the size and the compact ability of the device. So sometimes they look different. So here, this is going to be a change that's happening just for the web interfaces. I'll make that a little bigger so you guys can see. Sorry, this is the it's going to basically make it easier to share files with people without having to expand beyond what's needed. So I'll scroll, there you go. You can see the image now a little clearer. So it basically tells you how you can share between the different apps, and you can click on, you can still do the same share settings. So view, comment, or edit, you just click on the share box. It's going to open up this new window. So that does look a little different than what we're used to seeing. And it basically shows you how you can get the links and access it with people. So I'm just going to scroll down to show you the release cycle date. This is going to make it easier for people to collaborate together, by the way. And this is the share people window. So if you're sharing and you want to share it with certain people, you still have the ability to give them certain types of access, and you can get the shareable copy link at the bottom. Sharing interface for Google Drive and Docs, that still looks pretty much, sorry, the new face is here and then the old one. So you can see the difference between the two. And then I'll scroll a little further down. And there we go. Those are the dates. So if your school is on a rapid release cycle, it's going to be gradually rolled out from 2 days ago on the 28th of April. And if your school is on a scheduled release cycle, it's going to start only after the 26th of May. So either way, I'm going to pop these images and some user-friendly text on the slide deck for you. This was just rolled out a couple of days ago, and I'll update that after the call. Wow, that's like exactly 1 hour. That's awesome. I don't know how Mutassim and I do it when we do bilingual sessions together, or maybe I'm just really good at finding other stuff to talk about. But we did it. That was 1 hour. So we covered, back to the agenda, we talked about the updates for April, not March. Let me correct that there. We looked at the updates for April, and actually a couple of updates that I forgot to mention that I would like to do. You guys can see me editing my deck now. See how easy it is to do. Is shout out to the 2 people who earned their Google educator certifications this month, 2 people from my school. So shout out to Farah from our languages department. Oh, the blue screen's here. Just 1 second. There we go. We're almost back. There we go. And because YouTube has a delay, I always can see the nice blue interface that my skin gets when that happens. So lucky me. So shout out to Farah from the languages department at my school, and also to Rachel, who achieved her Google Educator Level 2. If you are part of GEG Amman, please let us know when you become a Google Educator, a certified Google Educator. It is a massive, massive pat on the back and congratulations to you guys, because it takes a while to study everything in the teacher center, to practice, to build confidence. And then, you know, taking tests is never, you know, a pleasant thing. So a 2 or 3 hour certification exam is definitely a massive shout out. So congratulations to those 2. And if you achieve yours, please do let us know. Tamina is giving a virtual high five to Farah and Rachel as well. Thank you, Tamina. Okay, so are there any final questions before we close the call for the day? I think we started a couple minutes late. I had to reboot my computer, as mentioned earlier. But we're setting at 56 minutes. So we have a few more minutes to go if anybody has any questions, or if anybody has used any of these awesome features, anything from the Googly Treats. If you have used them, shout out in the comments what you've used them for, or how they were able to help educators, yourself, maybe the parents and students at your school as well. Then please let us know. While people, because there's a small delay in the YouTube, while people are taking time to jot down any shares or questions, I will leave us on the join us slide again for our contact information for GEG Amman. So there's the link to our Twitter account. You'll find the link to our Instagram account, and you'll find a link to our Facebook group and our YouTube channel, which you guys already found. So good job. Also, if you have any other co-workers or colleagues or friends from other schools who you think would benefit from these great resources that are embedded in these slide decks and these sessions, or who are interested in joining the Google for Education family, then please share out the GEG Amman registration form with them. It is embedded in the logo at the bottom right-hand corner of this last slide on slide 13. And share that link out. Anybody's welcome, regardless of your region. We're always happy to learn and grow together. If you would like to become a Google certified trainer like myself or an innovator, which is something I'm also looking forward to becoming soon. Shout out to us, find out how you can apply for those things. Again, all available through the Trainer Center. There's links for the Google Trainer and Innovators, but it's all there. But reach out. Everybody's always super helpful, and I'm very happy to help anybody who would like to do similar things to what I'm doing and help more people globally around the world. Including if you are a trainer on the call and you would like to become a GEG leader like myself in your region, then please also do reach out. I'm going to be offering some sessions to support Google trainers who would like to become Google regional leaders through the GEG program. So definitely reach out if you're interested in that as well. Okay, so I don't see any questions that have come up, so we'll call that time for today. Would like to let everybody know that I will be, oh, there's the blue screen again. Just hang in there, guys. Thanks. I'd like to let everybody know that I will be sending out an update through the Google group, so that should reach your email in the next 2 days with all the upcoming sessions that we have going on, virtual events, obviously, through because of COVID-19 closures, upcoming for the month of May. Really exciting, as I announced earlier, so if you joined the call a little bit later, we have a guest speaker from GEG Ohio next Tuesday on Tip Tuesday, so don't miss Stephanie Howell's presentation with us. She's going to be sharing some really awesome resources that she's made, and we're really excited to have her join across time zones from America next Tuesday, so that's exciting. So we have Tip Tuesday every Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. local time, which is GMT +3. And we also have our monthly webinar just like this at the end of the month, every month, for the Middle East and Africa region. So you're welcome to join us here. We haven't decided on the date for the month of May, but stay tuned through social media channels for that date. And also we have our check-ins, our Google Meet check-ins every Sunday. Sunday, because if you're joining us internationally, our work weeks are Sunday to Thursday. Every week, and our weekends are Fridays and Saturdays. So we have our check-ins on the first day of the week to check in and inspire for the week ahead. So you're welcome to join us. It's the same time, 6:30 p.m. local time, GMT +3, and we share the Meet link through our social media channels. And we are also going to be posting, actually, I'm going to open up the channel. Hopefully this doesn't cut. I want to show you guys. I want to show you guys the Arabic channel link. Playlists, 1 second. Okay. I thought to share with you guys the playlist because we're going to be adding, there we go. So you guys should be able to see that now. That's our YouTube channel. And then the second playlist is the Arabic tutorials using Google Playlists. So we just uploaded our first one last week, and we plan to upload a new video tutorial every week. So if you have anybody in your region that speaks mostly only Arabic, or teaches mostly in Arabic, then these tutorials will support them in Arabic, delivering G Suite for Education. So stay tuned to that playlist. And then these are the other 4 playlists we have as well. So yeah, keep tuned on that. And thank you again for everything everybody is doing out there for education right now. It is a massively busy time. Hopefully it's calmed down a little bit, at least. Hopefully people are finding their groove. But thank you. It is not an easy time. Being cooped up at home all the time is not easy, especially if you have families. It's hard to find time for your own well-being, etc. So please try and do that. Take time to unplug. Do the things you love doing. Read your favorite book. Watch your favorite movie. Do something that makes you feel awesome. And give yourself a good pat on the back because you're doing a great job, and everybody out there is doing the best they can, and that is enough. So thank you very much from all of us here at GEG Amman for everything you're doing to support your education community. And we wish you all a safe and healthy weekend and month ahead. And we look forward to seeing you on our check-in meet on Sunday and our Tip Tuesday next Tuesday. So take care, everybody. Thanks for joining tonight.